So I had a couple of requests to see how I finished up Call of Pripyat as far as stats. Only 1 month in the zone, 40 missions survived, almost 90 missions completed, not bad. More importantly, over 300 mutants killed, 305 total, and 255 stalkers, all those poor bastards. Wow, 66 artifacts, which I had no idea I got that many. Let's see, weapon system expert, that doesn't really matter. Detective, I cleared somebody's name and I got respect from stalkers. Courier of Justice. Yeah, so you can look through all that if you want. But that's basically all there is to the end of the Call of Pripyat Let's Play. And now we'll go ahead and do the review sort of stuff. So moving on to the review itself, you can completely skip this if you don't want to watch anything with without action or anything. There's really not going to be anything in the game. It's just going to be me talking over these titles. It's as much a sound test as it is a review. I finally upgraded some parts on my system. Mainly, I upgraded to Windows 7. I just want to make sure everything's nice and balanced before I start the Crisis Let's Play. So, let's get going on that. Yeah, this is Shadow of Chernobyl. Yeah, I still have Lurk running, apparently, as you can see right there. And this was the first in the Stalker series. It was the first game to come out. It's the second in the timeline. And it's a killer game. I mean, it has a lot of issues with the vanilla mode with no mods, to the point where I actually won't even play it in vanilla mode. Complete 2009 is a very large mod which really does some nice things without changing the overall game. Basically, all it changes is it knocks off a few rough edges and updates the visuals. Other than that, it doesn't change anything. There's also Lurk. I did a whole Let's Play with Lurk, obviously, but I did it with an old version. What's out now is way different, even from what I played, to the extent that I probably wouldn't play with the current Lurk. It takes out some key things like artifacts, healing you and that sort of thing. But I don't know. Maybe down the line I'll give it a shot or something. And then there's also the Zone Reclamation Project, which is a big one, and Oblivion Lost, which is probably my favorite. Adds a whole lot of things, but those are the mods. As a game itself, out of the 3 games, all 3 use pretty much the same gameplay elements, but this probably has the weakest, what's the word to use? Gunplay, I guess. Because the weapons are really, really crappy. Just stock standard. With mods, they obviously work a bit better, but, since this is the first game, there's no upgrading or anything like that. And so, unless you get a good gun, your gun's never going to get better. But that brings on other things, because then you want to find other better weapons instead of just making your gun better. The story, the main campaign sort of story, because these all have a real loose approach to the story sort of stuff, is probably the best of the 3. It's got nice, some nice CG, beginning, ending stuff to go with it. There's more intrigue to go with it. Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat are considerably more linear in their story approach than this game, and it's totally possible to play Shadow of Chernobyl and actually miss the proper last sections of the storyline, which is neat, but it can also be aggravating because you can kind of get to a point of no return and be stuck, and the only way to do it is basically to come back and play the game over. But I played the game like, I don't even know, maybe a dozen times. I love this game. So with mods, I'd have to say this is by far my favorite out of the series. Without mods, I would put it, I don't know where I would put it. I mean, like I said, it's to me barely playable without mods, and maybe not by far the best. I would put it ahead of Call of Pripyat, but Call of Pripyat was done really well. In terms of overall size and exploration potential, I believe Shadow of Chernobyl is the largest of the 3 games. It was worked on the longest. It was in production for years and years and years, in development for years. Unlike Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat, which had shorter development cycles. It has the requisite stalker, underground, creepy areas, which Clear Sky really didn't do much of at all, which is kind of disappointing. Call of Pripyat does a lot more of it, but the underground areas are overall less dangerous. It's to be expected. It's the 3rd game in the series, but it just didn't have as much time behind it. So, if you're going to play any of the 3 Stalker games, I would have to say at least play Shadow of Chernobyl, and play with, at least one of the major mods, and, at least play with Complete. Play with Complete, and then after that, you pick Zone Reclamation Project, or Oblivion Lost, or even Lurk, if you want something radically different. But I would go with Oblivion Lost out of all of those. So, Clear Sky. Clear Sky has issues. Yeah, it's a Stalker game, but it also, it feels and plays very rushed. It adds a couple of really cool things. The lighting system is updated, and you get some gorgeous effects out of it if your system can handle it. And these days, most systems should be able to handle it. I shouldn't say the upgrade system has been improved, because there was no upgrade system in the first game, but they added an upgrade system and a standard repair system. Shadow of Chernobyl has no built-in repair system. You have to use a mod for that. But Clear Sky has upgrades and repairs as standard, which are awesome. They let you have nice upgrade paths, and you can actually play the game reasonably with the first automatic weapon you pick up. You can upgrade it, and you can turn it into a decent weapon. Obviously, there are other guns, and you'll probably want to pick those up because their standard level of proficiency is better than, the proficiency of the first gun you're going to pick up, decked out. And so anyway, like I said, upgrade system, repairs, standard, they're great. Story's, I don't want to say terrible, but it's very linear, which is a big disappointment after the first game. It's literally do stuff for guys here, go where they tell you to go. Do stuff for guys at the next place, go where they tell you to go. And just on and on until you beat the game. And there's no discovery of the story or revelations about the story. It's just kind of following the instructions, and then you get to the end of the game. The ending itself is very abrupt. 1 second you're in the middle of, kind of a hellstorm of events, and then the game ends and there's a video and you're like, what the hell? So it's not real clear what actually happens with the ending. And this is definitely the worst game out of the 3, to me. A lot of people agree with me. It's got a lot of bugs, a lot of glitched missions. There was a faction warfare system they developed for it. They actually patched that out because it was so unfinished, and it just wouldn't work. And it was a potentially great idea, and they just didn't have the time to work it out. Like I said, for the Shadow of Chernobyl stuff, Clear Sky does have a couple of underground sections, but they're brief, and they're just not as nice as Shadow of Chernobyl stuff. And the exploration for them is not great. There's not much poking around or, what the hell is that sort of moments. You just chug through them and come out the other end. As far as vanilla unmodded versions go, this is definitely better than Shadow of Chernobyl. Stuff's broken, but you can at least play the game without pulling your hair out, because you can repair, you know, good items and you can upgrade things. The gunplay is improved, so you're not, you know, shooting bullets at seemingly 45-degree angles from, you know, while crouched and aimed down the iron sights and waiting and all that sort of stuff. So that's an improvement. Unfortunately, not many mods were made for Clear Sky. I mean, compared to other games, there's a lot of mods, but for a Stalker game, not a lot of mods. And I believe, since I last played this, that Clear Sky Complete has been released, which is supposed to fix a lot of things and make it a lot nicer. But I can't speak for that. Sometime I'll have to give that a shot. But I hear that does some nice things as far as maybe visuals and gameplay. But I much prefer Shadow of Chernobyl and Call of Pripyat. But I'll get to Call of Pripyat in just a minute.